2025 is shaping up to be one of the biggest movie years we've had in a long time, and right now you're about to get a sneak preview of the films everyone will be talking about. Imagine this: the return of legendary franchises, brand new cinematic universes, long-awaited sequels, and surprise original films that could completely shake up Hollywood. If you think the last few years were packed, 2025 is on another level, and the wild part is that some of these movies are already building massive hype months before release. So here's the real question: which 2025 movie is already being called the next billion-dollar blockbuster, and which one might become the biggest surprise hit of the year? Stick around, because the lineup is way deeper than you think, and there is a good chance at least one of these movies ends up becoming your new favorite. Before we jump into the full breakdown, let's set the stage. 2025 is just loaded with sequels and reboots. It as a year where every major studio is trying to deliver something huge. Marvel and DC are both shifting gears, sci-fi and fantasy worlds are expanding like never before, animation studios are lining up some of their most ambitious projects ever, and horror films, well, they're about to take things to a whole new level. This video will walk you through the biggest blockbusters, the most surprising originals, the films that could break box office records, and the ones you absolutely need to keep on your radar. Whether you're a superhero fan, a sci-fi nerd, a horror lover, an animation fan, or someone who just wants something fresh, there's something coming in 2025 made exactly for you. So grab your popcorn, drop your most anticipated movie in the comments, and let's dive into the cinematic chaos waiting for us next year. 2025 is loaded with films whose very titles stir excitement, blockbusters that studios are banking on to dominate the box office and define the year. Think blockbuster-level budgets, massive fan anticipation, and global release strategies. First on the list are those big-name, high-stakes releases that come with built-in audiences, long-awaited sequels, franchise revivals, and tentpole films with enough scope to draw crowds across generations. These are the films that for many viewers define what going to the movies means. Among them are movies meant to carry decades-long legacies forward, entries designed to compete with the biggest summer tentpoles ever. What makes these so important isn't just the nostalgia factor, but the combined force of marketing power, star-studded casts, visual ambition, and a global release push. For many of these projects, box office expectations are sky-high. Studios expect opening weekend records, franchise rejuvenation, and long-term blockbuster status. But hype isn't the only thing defining them. The biggest blockbusters are also pushing new standards in special effects, production design, and cross-market appeal beyond traditional domestic audiences. They're being crafted to succeed not just in 2025 theaters but across streaming, international markets, and for years of merch, spin-offs, and cultural influence. For fans and casual moviegoers alike, these films set the tone for what 2025 will feel like at the movies: big, bold, and cinematic. If you love big screen spectacle, high stakes, and unforgettable visuals, this segment is where the year starts to feel like a major event. With release calendars packed, some of these movies may collide or surprise each other, but that tension only adds to the thrill. If you think the superhero genre has slowed down, 2025 might prove otherwise, thanks to a mix of reinvention, legacy continuation, and a push for bigger stakes. This year brings new entries from major cinematic universes, but also bold attempts at reboots or fresh starts. These films carry more weight than mere sequels. They're about resetting expectations, redefining characters, and potentially ushering in a new era for heroic storytelling. For longtime fans, the draw includes famous characters returning to the spotlight, maybe with new actors, new tones, new stakes. For newer audiences, 2025 promises accessible entry points, stories that don't require decades of backstory, but still deliver spectacle, drama, and thematic punch. Beyond individual films, this year may also test whether superhero fatigue is real or if the genre still has fresh gas in the tank. With new creative teams, evolving social contexts, and a growing desire for diversity, not just in casting but in storytelling styles, 2025's superhero slate might surprise. Expect a mixture of high-octane action blockbusters, character-driven arcs, and maybe even some dark, gritty reimaginings that distinguish themselves from the typical formula. And because studios know what's at stake, many of these films are being built as potential multi-part sagas. Audiences this year may witness not just thrilling standalone adventures, but beginnings of new cinematic universes designed to expand across sequels, spin-offs, and crossovers. For fans of heroism, moral complexity, or simply epic showdowns, 2025 superhero offerings could be a return to form, or maybe the beginning of something brand new. Science fiction and fantasy have always thrived when filmmakers aren't afraid to dream big, and 2025 looks to be a banner year for visionary world-building and immersive storytelling. Some of the most ambitious films slated for release this year promise to push boundaries, imaginative worlds, advanced CGI and VFX, grand narratives, and stories that ask you to believe in the impossible. Whether through return of beloved franchises or completely fresh original universes, this year's sci-fi, fantasy lineup aims to appeal to both longtime fans and newcomers hungry for escapism. What makes these films especially exciting is their potential for immersion, stories that don't just entertain, but transport you. Whether exploring alien landscapes, dystopian societies, magical realms, or alternate realities, these movies invite audiences to step outside the familiar. For fans of large-scale adventures, rich lore, and visual spectacle, 2025's sci-fi fantasy slate may serve up some of the most memorable cinematic experiences in years. And with modern VFX, sound design, and filmmaking technology delivering increasingly realistic and detailed worlds, there's never been a better time for these stories to shine. Moreover, these films often operate under fewer constraints than superhero blockbusters or franchise sequels. There's room for risk, for experimental storytelling, for bold design choices. That freedom can lead to surprises, films that subvert expectations, challenge genre norms, or deliver stories that stick with you long after the credits roll. If you're someone who loves getting lost in a new world, who enjoys thinking about what if, or who gets excited at the promise of cinematic escapism, 2025's sci-fi and fantasy offerings might just redefine what movies can feel like. Not everything in 2025 is about explosions, superheroes, or dazzling effects. For those who prefer spine-tingling scares, eerie atmosphere, or gripping suspense, horror and thriller films this year offer some of the most promising ground. There is a growing trend of studios and creators leaning into horror as strength. It can deliver gripping stories on tighter budgets, while still generating strong returns and passionate fan followings. 2025 seems primed for that kind of gritty, creative resurgence. Expect to see a mix of films. Some will be sequels or reboots of beloved horror franchises, designed to re-energize what people thought they knew. Others will be original stories, maybe smaller budget, more character-driven, and relying on psychological horror or tension rather than jump scares. For many of these films, the appeal lies in unpredictability. You don't know what's coming, and that uncertainty creates real fear. For fans who like being unsettled, who enjoy horror that lingers, or who appreciate stories pushing the envelope, 2025 might deliver some of the most memorable chills in recent cinematic history. Beyond scares, the thriller and horror category also offers thematic variety, from social commentary to intimate psychological drama to supernatural horror. That means there might be horror films that also make you think, or thrillers that don't just shock but challenge. In a year full of spectacle, these horror and thriller films could stand out as emotional punches, intimate nightmares, and memorable cinematic experiences that don't rely on blockbuster budgets. If you love to be unsettled, or just enjoy the catharsis of a well-told thriller, you lines want to keep an eye on this segment of 2025's film lineup. Not everyone goes to the movies for explosions or scares. For many, the magic comes from animation, heartwarming stories, and films that families or friends can enjoy together. 2025 appears to have strong offerings on this front too, from studio animations to family-friendly adventures to fun, lighthearted stories designed to appeal across ages. These films often carry a special kind of appeal, combining nostalgia, creativity, and the universal power of storytelling. What makes animation and family films especially meaningful is their ability to balance entertainment and emotion, bringing humor, heart, wonder, and sometimes deep life lessons all in one. For younger audiences, they provide wonder and escape. For adults, they can evoke nostalgia, offer comfort, or even surprise with depth and clever storytelling, and broad marketing plus smaller, original films aimed at families or younger viewers. That variety makes this segment especially exciting. Whether you're looking for a fun outing with kids, a cozy movie night with friends, or just a way to decompress, there's likely something coming for you. Moreover, animated and family films often serve as cultural touchstones. They can shape memories, inspire creativity, and even influence entire generations. With 2025's promise of ambition and reinvention, there is potential for films in this category not only to entertain but to linger in hearts, conversations, and maybe even in future classics. If you enjoy stories with warmth, adventure, and universal themes, or if you simply want something uplifting and entertaining, this segment could become one of the most rewarding corners of 2025's cinema year. As we wrap up this look at the movies coming in 2025, one thing is clear: this year is shaping up to be one of the most exciting, diverse, and unpredictable years cinema has seen in a long time. From massive blockbusters and bold superhero reboots to imaginative sci-fi worlds, chilling horror experiences, and heartwarming animated adventures, there's truly something for every type of movie lover. Whether you're the kind of viewer who loves cheering in a packed theater, analyzing every frame of a trailer, or simply enjoying a cozy movie night at home, 2025 is about to deliver moments you'll be talking about long after the credits roll. But now it's your turn. Which movie are you most excited for? Is it one of the big franchise giants, a new superhero universe, a creepy horror film you can't wait to watch with the lights off, or maybe an animated project that hits you right in the nostalgia? Drop your picks in the comments because I'd love to see which films are already building the most hype in this community. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into upcoming releases, trailer breakdowns, and movie news, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the updates coming your way. 2025 is going to be a cinematic ride full of surprises, nostalgia, innovation, and unforgettable stories. So get ready, mark your calendars, and prepare for a year where movies might just feel magical again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.